Uganda is going through 50 years of its existence as an independent country. And yet the future is more important than the past. But wait a minute, what's the vision here? Because there is one man, an old man with an old hat, who says another rap, that is the only one with a vision. Can you imagine that? And I don't know what New Vision says, that's the only paper with a vision. But I think our view of Uganda, when I look at the Citizen Manifesto of 2011, is a united, peaceful, democratic, and prosperous Uganda with a happy people. So all those other things is not enough. Even if you are rich, you are prosperous, not everybody who's rich is happy. I think you get that point. With a happy people. I think that's really the underlying principle here. And the president thinks it's a blessing in disguise to have this oil. It looks like all our problems will end. You heard him recently, I don't know where he was talking about. The country is more divided now than it was many years ago. The anger, the hatred that is building up is worrying. Now, I think my colleagues have gone through a number of issues. I can only add and say, this gold is being developed at the moment. Let's put it within a context. What is the operating environment? What's the context? Today, Uganda is suffering from something called bushism. There's an ism here. Those who went to the bush develop their own habits there. They eat with a capital E. They don't eat the small e. You know, they don't spell eating in small letters. They eat really in big letters. Whether you're in OPM or you're, you just woke up one morning and find 5 billion in your account. You prayed very well, I think. Or you find the first lady who's alleged to have gone to Israel 8 times a month. Other people using companies called Jesus Enterprise. You see receipts for accountability. It's really, it's worrying. That's the context. The Bush state, created by Bushmen, Bushnomics, economic system which grows in a few pockets. Okay, in terms of the disparities. The Bush healthcare system without drugs in hospital, where health workers are not well paid. The Bush education system, where kids, the quality is collapsing. The Bushism, the Bush state, the Bush, the Bush system of justice, which is so selective in administering justice. Justice for some and not for all. When you look at the anatomy of the Bush state, you will find that it's like the power dynamics. When I look back with hindsight, I became a minister in '87. 26 turning 27. Okay, 1987. My briefing notes. When I look back with hindsight, all that talk about Wananchi is no more. Wananchi have become terrorists, they have become hooligans. You no longer hear the word Wananchi. It's like this country has no more owners now. You see the talk, the rhetoric is changing. And so what has really happened? And you find, if you look at the power dynamics, like like the cross, Uganda is at crossroads now. There are those who are very powerful and very comfortable. So if you're powerful, then you're also powerless, okay? The opposite of powerful. There are citizens in this country who are really powerless. And yet there are those who are powerful. There are those who are very comfortable, and there are those who are not comfortable. Look at that cross. You cannot read in any textbook. Okay? So there's this group here, the Bushmen. Their cronies, Mao talked about. Their friends, their in-laws, their friends. They are here. They have the fattest bank accounts in town. They are driving the hugest and newest cars in town. Some are air-conditioned, shock absorbed, even bulletproof. They have mansions and mansions. They have large tracts of land. If you look into the characteristics of those who are powerful and very comfortable. They want the music to go on, and for you just to have another rap. It's exciting. Life for them is Christmas. It should not stop. And then there are those who are powerless, but very comfortable. The RDCs, the members of parliament, some contractors, some, they are there. In the scheme of things, okay, they say, what do you do? If you can't beat them, join them. You know, they are involuntary recruits into this whole thing. And so, the body politic has been so messed up that it is creating its own carbon copies. HIV/AIDS, it's eating up this mafiadom, this corruption. So you find that there's no struggle. Even women who were not in this whole thing are now joining. So the future of corruption is so bright in Uganda. It's, you know, because new entrants have joined it, and no woman left behind. You know, no child left behind. Even when you join the civil service immediately, like Azinda, you want to have, why 100 rooms at all in your, that they take pride in only just switching on cars you don't even drive, and just listen to this engine, listen to the other engine, listen to the other one, then they switch off, then you go back. That's how they recreate. So, what am I saying here? There are those who are powerful, so who are powerless, but very comfortable. And yet the majority of people are here. They are both powerless and uncomfortable. They're here. That's where the majority are. I don't know where you belong. And then you have those of us who are powerful, but very uncomfortable with the direction the country is taking. You're driving good cars, you've been, you know, your children in international schools and so forth, but you're worried where the country is moving into. The Kisa Besigers, the Muntu, the Maos, they are here. They are powerful, but very uncomfortable, the way things are happening. And yet there is an alliance here, which is going to be a stagnation alliance. The country is stagnating between the powerful, comfortable, and those who are powerless, but comfortable. The running thread is comfort. Are you seeing? At election time, this one bring their huge monies and give it to this, for this now to hoodwink the citizens to vote the right way. Are you together? After elections is over, results are out, and the song goes on. That oil is being developed at a time when Uganda is suffering from this Bushism. Now, the challenge therefore is access to information. The constitution is very good, but what information do citizens have? Even those journalists that try to go to court to get access to information. That's why we must congratulate, of course, the 9th Parliament. They have really put their foot down, but they're being fought. So the question is, will they really, to the very end, will they go to the very end, or along the way, they will be taken against Chankwanzi, and there will be bull roasting or cow roasting, and before you know, they are putting on the military uniform. They're not military men. That uniform is a monopoly of the military stores. But because they want you to salute the commander-in-chief, they don't want you to be critical. They want to subject you to a situation where you are, okay, where there is a boss, and but look, your bosses are citizens of Uganda who elected you. Leave that military uniform to the military. Don't mess it up. If you drive on the left, you drive on the right, we can have more accidents. Keep left. Do your job. Anyway, we are waiting to see, and the system is that while they're being inducted very well, and there's a system now trying to induct them again in another way, in another direction, to service the interest of the Bush, of the leaders of the Bush state. Now, 2 minutes. The land issues here. There are 4 padlocks in that constitution. Land belongs to not people of Uganda, but citizens of Uganda. There are many people in Uganda. We were very categorical when we said citizens. Okay? 2, we said that government can have power for forceful acquisition of land. But you must, 4 padlocks, it must be for public use. Not private use, not to give to private X, no. Let that private investor come directly to the landowner. Let him not hide behind the bureaucracy. It must be for public use. It's a road, it's a hospital, it's what? Public morality, public health, public security. Okay, that's why we put in the constitution. 2, adequate compensation at market rate. But you had the feeling. What are they saying about compensation? They are being compensated in deeds or not at all. You had that one. And then the constitution says adequate compensation at market rate. It says prior to your leaving the land, you must be adequately compensated. The 4th padlock we put there was that if anybody is aggrieved, you must access to courts of law to seek redress. That's what the Constitution says. We made that Constitution. But how is it being implemented down the Rift Valley? It's a different story. It's moving on different axes. Why? The Bush state. Bushmen. Now, Mao talked about integration of the ordinary people into the local economy, into the oil economy. Is it taking place? No, they're being excluded. And therefore the exclusion will grow wide and wide. How? PGB, Special Forces Group. What is special about guard duties? The Special Forces we know all over the world. What's this? You had the SEALs going into Afghanistan and really taking out Osama bin Laden. What is guard duties about Special Forces Group? What is special? Now, so the issues are from poverty to power. I think there's a challenge here. How to propel now those citizens who are now poor, who are being impoverished deliberately. 2, from passive citizens to active citizenry. I think that's what Uganda needs. I wish there were just 100 active citizens in every parish in Uganda. Time is over 5,000 parishes. You know what you would have in the country. But it looks like there was a huge accident that occurred in Uganda, and all the citizens, the majority of citizens are in the casualty one. They are unconscious. Unconscious. So, how do we keep leaders on their toes? So I think let me leave here. There should be, in terms of the executive, in terms of how the legislature, because now for those of us who are monitoring Parliament, Parliament is saying, don't monitor us, the individuals, you monitor the institution. Wait a minute. It's not the institution that hung their photographs to be voted. It's not the institution of Parliament that came to seek our votes. It is you, the individual. And the Constitution is very clear that this number directly elected. This number represents district. This number represents... Now, how can you then say we should monitor the building called Parliament? That's why the scorecard is not yet coming out. The MOU is being delayed. Now, finally, Parliament, executive, civil society, and the media. I think all of us have a role. Civil society being that organized space between the state and the ordinary citizen. Thank you very much.